If you've ever opened up Lightroom and had no idea which direction to take your photos, you're not alone. It's one of the most common problems that photographers face because really the possibilities are endless. But what if I told you that there's a simple system that you could actually follow that will uncover the direction that your photo is already pointing towards? Well, that's exactly what we are going to be walking through today. I'm going to show you how I go from analyzing a raw photo to producing a cinematic edit that I am genuinely proud of every single time. Step 1, read what your photo is already giving you. This sounds basic, but most photographers will skip this process altogether to jump right into color. But before you ever touch a single slider, your photo is already telling you something. If your image is warm and bright, lean into those tones and create around that feeling. The goal is to create something that feels real, because if a viewer's looking at your photo, and even if they can't put words to what feels wrong, something to them is just going to seem off. And that doesn't mean that you can't push a heavy color grade. You absolutely can, but it needs to also align with the image itself. The photo already has a direction before you ever start, so your job is to listen. Step 2 is to ask 2 really important questions that will help break the paralysis that you're feeling. Question 1, what emotion do I want my image to convey? Do I want it dark and moody? Do I want it bright and nostalgic? Or maybe aggressive and intense? The colors you choose actually dictate the emotional response that your viewer feels when they see your image. But this isn't hoping and guessing for it though. They actually use this exact same principle within filmmaking. And it's actually all based off of the Plutchik's wheel of emotion. The colors you introduce into your photo have the power to make somebody feel something specific. So that's why it's so important to use a tool like this really intentionally. The second question is, what is the dominant color in this photo? By you isolating one dominant color, you remove all distraction and all noise. You're finally able to simplify an image down to something that feels more manageable and more workable. And here's why this is so powerful. Because once you've chosen one dominant color, then every single color in your image revolves around that. You're not guessing anymore. You can see what's actually possible right in front of you. But I know sometimes this concept can be hard to understand. So let's jump into Lightroom and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So when we come into Lightroom here, this photo is already edited, already graded. I have everything done here because I feel like if we started with a raw photo, this would take an entire other tutorial. But if you guys want me to build up by showing you this dominant color process, then let me know in the comments below. But for right now, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening and how I thought through this process. So within this photo here, we have our typical orange and teal look. So if we look at where the dirt is sitting here, it's sitting somewhere within like this yellowy orange hue here. And so this to me was my dominant color. This was going to be the color that I said, this I want to rule the rest of my scene. And so what I did is I removed the saturation from all the other colors in the photo. So anything that had to do with this dirt, so that would be like our yellows, oranges, maybe the reds, I doubt it. But what I did is I removed all the colors just to get very clear on what was going on. So in this photo here, you can see that this whole color tone, this is going to show us where we need to push our photo. So for example, if we go into the color wheel here, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. So the color is sitting somewhere here. The opposite on the color spectrum, which is somewhere within like this blue, this is actually sitting a little bit more on the red side. So it's sitting somewhere in here. Now the blue is more of like this teal kind of blue. So if our color tone for the rest of the photo is sitting within that range, somewhere within like this teal to kind of like this mid dark blue, then what we're actually going to get is we're going to get a complementary color grade. So you can see that once we start bringing back our blues within this photo here, we don't want to go too aggressive because that's going to ruin the look. Keep those still dim. Then we're going to bring in our red to kind of emphasize what's going on right here. That's okay to have like some random colors. That doesn't compete with the overall color tone. As long as this color fits within the entire scene, then having those small competing colors, especially if it's directed toward the subject, those are okay. So I'm going to increase a little bit of purple. Okay, so the magenta's not really doing much. So you can see that from this color palette, we have a really nice teal and orange look. So now when we come into color grading, I'm thinking about this very logically. Am I going warmer or colder? For this photo, it's going to make more sense, like I said, to go warmer. So I'm pushing in that warmer tone. So if this color here aligns with the dirt, within the scene, it's actually going to blend nice. So it doesn't even matter if we want to push super aggressive on this photo, as long if this sits here, that messes up the whole photo because that doesn't align with our dominant color. So I'm going to pull this back just till this color aligns here. And so now you can see that even if we have a really aggressive, really push look, that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the photo. So once we pull it back here, we can still keep it pretty aggressive. And this looks so cool. That is the power of a dominant photo because now you know where to be pushing your tones based off of, is it going warmer or colder, and based off of where that dominant color is and the color scheme you've created throughout the color mixer, that's actually going to dictate where you push in your color grading wheels. And so I usually go with the highlights first, then the midtones. And so those are also going to follow after that warm tone here. And I'm going to adjust it too far that way, too far that way, too red, meet somewhere in the middle, somewhere about here. Now I don't want to go too aggressive here because I don't want to oversaturate. Pull that back. That looks cool. That fits within the scene. And then my shadows are going to go the opposite. And the only reason why they're going opposite on the color spectrum is because I want to get neutral blacks. I want his helmet to be neutral black because that's going to balance out the scene. Watch what happens if I remove the shadows. You can come in here and you can look and you can see these shadows are picking up red because that's what we introduced within the highlights, midtones. So we need to balance out those blacks to give us a really nice, even looking photo. Like I said, making it look realistic. So we're going to push this in a little bit just till we get rid of the red. So I'm going to turn the eye off and on. This to me looks more true black. So I come out, off, and on, and it looks like it's balancing out the shadows. Now we have a really cool color grade. And so whether or not we turn this off or on, we still have a nicely balanced photo because we set up our photo to match and manage the tones first within the color mixer tab because we chose one dominant color and the rest of the photos followed after the type of color scheme that we were going for. And we were going for a complementary. So on our wheel, those dirt colors were sitting somewhere in here. The sky was sitting somewhere in here. Perfect. Now we have a complementary color grade, and that's exactly what we got. Step 3 is to build your internal color palette. Most photographers don't know what's possible because they're not putting themselves in a place to see what is possible. I am constantly scrolling through ShotDeck, Behance, Instagram, finding any piece of inspiration. And when I find a photo that catches my attention, I am ruthlessly breaking it down because I want to not just look at the photo, which most photographers do, but I want to look at the color. I want to see what the highlights, midtone, shadows are doing. I want to see how they're lighting that photo. There's so many different key pieces to make up a great photo, and color is really half of the battle. The analysis of people's work is really the launch pad to kind of get you off the ground, to build your instincts, and eventually to really just create your own signature style. So if you'll build the system of looking at what the photo is already giving you, figuring out what emotion that you're trying to convey, choosing one dominant color in the photo, and then building your own internal color palette, you'll be ahead of so many other photographers when it comes to creating cinematic and stunning images. But if you're still struggling with this and you want to be able to create cinematic looks for every single photo that you take, and you want a proven system that will help you get there, then I think you'll be really interested in the program that I made called the Cinematic Blueprint. You can find more information in the description below. All right, well, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.